All right, welcome back, guys. So now we're going to talk about the next property of the subconscious mind. So now we're going to talk about association. So the way I define it, is probably a little similar to the way association is normally defined. It's probably similar to the way it's defined in psychology, but the way I define it is still a little bit different because I'm talking about the subconscious. So and my beliefs are a little different. So in order to talk about this, we first got to talk a little bit about what happens with information, right? Everything that you experience, right? Everything that you feel and that you experience, all of it, I believe, actually gets stored to memory. So anything you experience, anything you feel, everything you think about, everything that your conscious mind was aware of at any given point gets stored to your memory for later. I believe that's basically been happening with all of your experiences since you were even born. Now, there's a lot of materialists who believe that awareness, thoughts, memory, all that stuff is purely a product of the physical mind. I think that's absurd. I feel like I can't even take that seriously, but I know people believe that. But it is what it is. But for me, that's not true at all. Information is metaphysical. Now, obviously, you can't remember everything that happened since you were born. Now, why can't you? There's a longer explanation for that, which we'll get to later. But for now, we're going to use a metaphysical paradigm or framework. So, information, to me, it's obvious, is metaphysical. And anything that happens, again, anything that you experience, that experiences get stored to memory automatically. But specifically, it gets stored to your subconscious memory. Now, we're going to talk more about subconscious memory because that's a big topic. That's pretty much what all of chapter 9 and 10 are about, all of chapters 9 and 10. I wasn't even sure if I should talk about subconscious association yet, but because it's really something, it's really related to subconscious memory, which we're not talking about yet, but I figured it's good to have it now just to have a good idea of how the subconscious organizes information. So yeah, everything you experience gets stored to your subconscious, to memory, and your subconscious mind is able to access that memory. And then what it does is it compels you basically to remember or to recall the memory. So when you feel compulsion from your subconscious to recall something, it basically is going to recall a past thought and a past feeling of the memory. So that's basically this point. The subconscious recalls past thoughts and feelings automatically based on the subject you focus on, and that's the principle of association. So in other words, what determines what causes your subconscious to, well, actually before I get into that, let me just say that there are two ways to recall information. So the first way is basically just intending to. So if I'm just trying to think about what I did yesterday, and I hold the intention to remember what I did yesterday, I'm going to recall it, right? My subconscious is going to change, and then it's going to start compelling me. So in other words, my intention quantizes my subconscious to access the ability of recall. So it compels me to start recalling what I did yesterday as soon as I hold the intention to remember what I did yesterday. Again, there's more to explain about that, but that's the rough process. Now, that's one form of recall. So there's actually another form of recall that's more automatic, right? In that case of me trying to remember what I did yesterday, that's more of a voluntary process. There's more of an automatic, less voluntary process of memory recall, and that's what association is, or subconscious association. And that kind of recall is based on the subject. So if I focus on a particular subject, just by focusing on it, my subconscious automatically compels me to recall the past thoughts and feelings that I had from the last time that I was focused on this subject. So that's very important. Your subconscious organizes information and memories based on subjects. That's why it's so important to understand that intentions are broken up, or to understand intentions have a subject part and a command part. So just as an example, let's say that, I'm walking down the street, right? And I'm walking past this house. Let's say I'm walking past this house and there's a dog that comes out every single time I walk past the house. It's like this crazy, vicious dog. Let's say it's a Rottweiler, and it just starts barking at me, mad crazy, you know. And it's basically, let's just say it's always close to attacking me, whatever. It always gets close to biting me, but it never does. But it's always close. You know, let's say that happens like 10 days in a row. What's going to happen on the 11th day that I walk past the house? I'm obviously going, soon as I get near the house and soon as I even start to think about it, which means that my attention is focused on that house. As soon as I focus on it, or let's not even say I'm walking next to it. Let's say I'm at work and I just think about the house. How am I going to feel? I'm not next to it yet. I'm not walking down the street. But this moment I even think about that house, I'm going to feel some of that anxiety that I felt from the idea of the dog being about to bite me, right? So in other words, I didn't hold the intention to remember feeling anxiety from the dog. It's just as soon as I thought about the house, I felt it automatically, right? That's association. Now, I didn't need to, it doesn't happen if I focus on like a restaurant, right? I don't feel that anxiety if I focus on my house or my friend's house or whatever, a car, just random other things. But as soon as I focus on that house, just focus on it. Let's say that I'm walking and not even thinking and I just see the house. I'm not holding intention to recall how I felt last time. But as soon as I see that house and I focus on it, I'm going to feel those feelings right away. They're going to come rushing back, right? So that's a form of memory recall. And that form of memory recall is subconscious association. So that's going to be very important in understanding the subconscious mind because I'll talk more about it when we get to subconscious memory, but it's very important because it basically highlights the fact that your memories and subconscious are organized according to subjects, right? So it's easy to remember stuff using your intention or voluntarily, but that's a different, there's a reason that you're able to do that, which is not actually the more complete way subconscious works, and that way is not even really that important in subconscious control. The association one is the important one. That's going to help you to really learn how to control your subconscious. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's subconscious association. Your subconscious organizes memories according to subjects, and it automatically recalls past thoughts and feelings that you had based on whatever subject you focus on. Right? If you have a bad experience with a person, let's say every time you meet them, you have a bad experience. You're just chilling one day and someone mentions their name. You're going to automatically start to feel bad and annoyed because you're thinking about that person. Your subconscious recalled the memory, the last feelings and thoughts that you had the last time you thought about that person. So it will do it automatically. So, that'll be a compulsion that your subconscious exerts on your conscious mind to have those feelings. I don't know if I said it last in the video on compulsion, but compulsions can also, they create an urge to think or do something, but embedded in compulsion is also a feeling. So I should have mentioned that. But it's also a feeling or an emotion. For association, the compulsion behind the association is going to create an urge for you to think the same thoughts you had last time you were focused on the subject and have the same feelings. So yeah, that's subconscious association. I forget the topic for the next video, but I'll look it up. But yeah, I'll see you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.